Matthew chapter 20. Let's read from verse 20. Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshipping him and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, What wilt thou? She said unto him, Grant that these my two sons may sit, the one on thy right and the other on thy left, in thy kingdom. But Jesus answered and said, Ye know not what ye ask. Are ye able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? They say unto him, We are able. You see that? So when the mother came and told Jesus her intention, Oh, I want my two sons to sit with you, one on the right hand, the other on the left. Jesus now told them that, well, this thing you are saying now, you don't even know it. Then Jesus asked them two questions. Number one, he said, Will you be able to drink of the cup that I will drink of? And number two, he said, Will you be able to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? And then their response to Jesus was, Yes, we are able. Now, the reason they said they are able was not because they understand the weight of the two questions that Jesus asked them. But they said they are able because they were desperate. That's what I was trying to say in the previous teachings. When you get desperate for something, you will lose your discernment. Sometimes desperacy makes you lose your sense. Yes, you don't think correctly. Either you just want to get it. Let me give you an example. Remember the story of Jacob in the house of Laban? Now, Jacob actually, he wanted to marry Rachel. It was Rachel that Jacob loved. And for Rachel, Jacob served 7 years. Because in those days, service is also a form of payment. You know, like today, that's in Nigeria especially, you want to marry, you take some things to the house of the wife, you know, to the parent of the wife, some, you know, yam, rice, and some other things that they take there. But in those days, you can also use service. If you want to marry their daughter, you can serve them for a particular year. That's based on their arrangement. Are you there? So maybe 5 years, maybe 6, maybe more than that. But you will serve them for a particular year. So when you are done with that service, then you are qualified to marry their daughter. Now, I want to believe that that service they are doing is not just so that you can marry their daughter. No, I think there is more to it. I think in the process of serving also, they get to know the kind of person you are. They get to know the kind of person they want to give their daughter to. So while serving, when they discover that, oh, you are a dubious person, you are not straightforward, you're a wicked person, you are not faithful, they won't give their daughter to you. I don't think they will give their daughter to you. So the place of serving also, service also gives the parent an opportunity to know who their daughter wants to marry. Are we together? So I want to believe that, maybe, the way it works now in our generation. You see a sister, you want to marry her, but you first develop a kind of friendship with the sister, to a point that maybe both of you, you get used to each other. You talk, you chat, you go out together for programs, or you go out to eat. There's this deep friendship between the two of you. Maybe something like that was already going on between Jacob and Rachel. Now, in those days, no sex before marriage was like a normal thing. You don't need anybody to preach to you. You know that you should not have sex before marriage. That is even Old Testament standard. Now, before I even continue, if that is Old Testament standard, if no sex before marriage is a standard, is a common thing in the Old Testament, then why are we that we have access to both the old and the new, why are we now acting lower than the old standard? We are supposed to even increase our own standard. Because Jesus said, to whom much is given, the same much is expected. Are we together? So that was the standard in the Old Testament. So when I said Jacob and Rachel getting to know each other, being close, I'm not talking about any romantic or unnecessary. No. I'm talking about just pure closeness. You understand, just two friends that are fond of each other. They talk to each other, smile, and that's all. They don't cross the boundary of sexual. No, it's a normal thing in the Old Testament. Except for the one that chooses to be a harlot. If a girl is a prostitute, that's the case. But if the girl is not pronounced prostitute, she knows she have to abstain from sex. So I want to believe that when Jacob saw Rachel and then he loved her, he must have spoken to her. And then they must have been friends, talking, going out together, things like that. So maybe it was later that, maybe while they were discussing, I'm just trying to create a picture for the scenario. Now, maybe one day while they were discussing, Rachel now said, I think you need to speak to my dad about what's happening between us. Because you cannot go and be serving for a lady that you don't even know what her response will be. You cannot just go and be serving for a lady you have not spoken to before. What if after 7 years you now say, okay, and the lady said, no, I don't love you. Have you spoken before? Are you there? So it means that they must have been friends. They must have been close. They must have been doing a lot of things together, walking together, going out together, strolling together, reading together, praying together, and some other things together. So maybe it's in one of their discussion that Rachel now said, well, I think you need to speak to my parent about this, especially my dad. Speak to him. Let him know your plans towards me, so that whatever you need to do, he will tell you. So Jacob now went to, I want to believe that must have been the reason for Jacob's move to reveal his intention to Laban, the father of Rachel. Are we together? So Jacob went to Laban and told Laban, said, sir, I love your daughter. Meanwhile, Laban has two daughters. Are we together? He has two daughters. One, Rachel. The other one, Leah. Leah was older than Rachel. Are you getting what I'm saying? Uh-huh. Why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this story to further prove to you that when you choose to be desperate, you become low on discernment. I mean, sometimes you lose your senses because you are desperate. It's when you are done that you now be, how could I even do? Yes, it's because you started in desperacy. That's why you can't even imagine the things you have done now. So Jacob went to Laban and told him, Rachel, I love Rachel so much. I would love to marry her. Meanwhile, before this time, Jacob was already serving Laban. So it was not like Jacob was just in the house eating and sleeping. No, he was already serving Laban because he ran from his father's house after, taking what belongs to his brother. So he had to run away from the house so that, for the fear of being killed by Esau. That's what led him to Laban's house. So Laban now said, well, if you want to marry my daughter, it's okay. It means you will need to serve for 7 years. Now, serving for 7 years could mean that in addition to the service of Jacob before, now some other specific roles and responsibilities will now be given to him. Now, it's just like maybe before what Jacob, what he does is just to when the maybe Laban had some other elders that helps him take the cattle out in the morning and then they bring the cattle in the evening. So maybe what Jacob does before is just when the elders return with the cattle, maybe what he does is, okay, before they return, he will sweep their ranch to ensure the place is neat. And when the elders return, he will now be the one to close the door of the ranch. I'm just giving an example. Maybe that's what he has been doing before now. But now that he now made his intention known to Laban that I want to marry your daughter, Rachel. Laban now said, okay, you have to serve me for 7 years. Are we together? So what that will now mean now is that you will not only be sweeping the ranch and closing the door when the herders bring the cattle. You will sweep the ranch, close the door, and you will lead the cattle out. So maybe for now I will tell my herders to stay hold on because of the money I'm paying them is too much. I'm just giving you a picture. Are you there? So at least that salary I'm giving to them, I will save it. So just imagine Laban now speaks to his herders. Thank you so much. You have labored. He paid them. I said you can go look for another job. So for that 7 years, Jacob now became both the one sweeping the ranch, closing the door of the ranch, and leading the cattle out. And also his responsibility is to bring them back. Do you get what I'm saying? In the evening. Are you there? I'm just giving you a picture. But I'm trying to let you know that when Laban told Jacob that he will serve him for 7 years, the implication of that is his responsibilities will increase. Some other things will be added to whatever he might have been doing before. So I'm just trying to create a picture for you so that you understand what I'm saying. So even if the former headers were not sent away, I'm saying that because Jacob now wants to marry Rachel, more responsibilities will be handed to him. Are you there to what he's doing? Are we together? So, and because now there's a way you feel when you are in love. So, because Jacob was in love, the 7 years looks like it looks like 7 days to him. And then the increase in responsibilities was not a big deal. Why? Because this feeling of I can do anything for love. I can do anything for love. So Jacob was in that mood. So year one, year two. I want to believe that during the course of the 7 years of service, he still meets with Rachel. They still talk. You know, still talk. Although Jacob is now more busy, but at least squeeze time for a few minutes, they still talk, and then they are lovers. They were growing in love for each other. So after the 7 years, the the father, Laban, now packaged Leah. Meanwhile, it was not Leah that Jacob has been meeting. The girl you have been meeting, not immorally now, but the girl you have been meeting virtually every day, you talk, you share ideas, you discuss future, how family will be. At least to some extent, you should have been able to recognize her, even when she is veiled. There are people I can recognize even when their faces are covered. Are we together? So after the 7 years, Laban now packaged Leah. You understand? She, he packaged Leah and then veiled her because during wedding they put something on the head of the wife. They veil her face. That's how they do their ceremony. So after the whole thing, that's when you can now take your wife to your house and you can now have sex. Are you there? Because now you are married, you are a husband. Is that okay? So I don't know. Maybe, of course, before that time there might have been some kind of tension in the home, especially when Rachel heard that the father was not willing to. And are you there? Maybe the father said, if you tell him, I'm going to deal with you. So you want to marry, and your elder sister will be here. You want her to be depressed. Don't you know our tradition? How can the younger marry before the other? Don't you know the tradition of this land? And then Rachel will be heartbroken. She will be sad. You understand that kind of thing. So the question is, where was Rachel while they were doing all this wedding? Obviously, she could not behold that thing. Just imagine the person you love being deceived, and you cannot help. So you won't even stay around. So maybe Rachel just locked herself up in her room and she was crying there. So she didn't really come out because she can't be in that wedding that day and she will be normal. Are you there? Knowing fully well that brother Jacob is not even aware. He doesn't know that her own father is playing, is deceiving her own husband to be, that kind of complicated issue. So obviously Rachel will not be around that place. So the ceremony was going on. Meanwhile, it was Leah that was covered, but Jacob did not know. This kind of wedding you are having, and then you are just desperate. Let us finish this wedding. Let me go in with my wife. This thing we have not done all this while. At least we'll do it once. You understand? Finally, today, I've been holding myself. Those kind of things that some Christian brothers and sisters used to say. Some of them, even in relationship, they keep talking about things they should not talk about. We know on our wedding night, ABCD is going to be this. This one is saying it to be this. This one is saying I will win you. This one is saying no, I will win you. Those kind of naughty things that they should not even talk about. So there was this. A lot of anxiety was built up in Jacob. He was desperate, wanted to know that experience, that after marriage experience. After marriage experience, let's even know how this thing looks like. Let's know. People have been talking about it. It's a good time to experience it. Those kind of things. So he could not discern. He could not discern. And if you see the way the Bible describes Rachel and Leah, you will see that it's not like they have the same stature. So it's obvious that The desperacy of Jacob shut down his discernment totally. If you check you can even make your research. You will see that they don't have the same stature. They don't have the same look. They don't have the same shape. They don't have the same height, obviously. And yet, Jacob still did not discern anything because he was highly desperate. I'm saying this to let you know that you have more to lose when you choose to be desperate. The problem is when you are desperate, it looks like you gain some kind of speed. But you see, that speed you have gained is to your own destruction. So after the whole party, Jacob went into Leah. He took Leah to his house. Of course, he's the legal husband now. Took off the veil. He still did not know. Two of them lied on the bed. He did not know. I don't even understand Jacob. He had sex with the lady. All through the process of the revival they were doing. He did not know. I don't know how the experience is, but I think you should even know. Is it that they were not talking? I don't know. Was it that they just entered and just switched to action? Or was Jacob that desperate that you don't even talk to the person you entered into the house with? Did you just enter the house from your wedding and you went straight to the bed? Was there no conversation? Like you just, okay, this way. It was now probably the next morning when after they had done all the do's, the next morning that Jacob now woke up and then opened his eyes. To his surprise, he saw Leah. And then in his mind, this thing I'm explaining to you is in the Bible. I'm just adding some, I'm just adding some, I don't know what to call it now. I'm just adding some flesh to it. I'm just making it more relatable to you. But the story I'm sharing is in the Bible. It's in the book of Genesis. So it was the next morning that Jacob now stood and now looked at the girl, the lady. And then to his surprise, it was Leah he saw. So, I want to assume that, Jacob must have said things like, oh, maybe, Leah is the elder sister. Maybe Jacob is even one of the people that will say, Auntie Leah, good morning. That kind of honor that he will give to the elder sister to the sister he wants to marry. That kind of honor. There are some sisters like that, the elder to your own wife, to the girl you want to marry. There's a way you honor her. So maybe the next morning, Jacob saw us, Auntie Leah, good morning. But I'm surprised you are lying on my bed. What's happening? Where's my wife? How did you enter, ma? I'm sorry, but good morning, ma. And then Leah said, well, you don't have to use ma for me. You don't have to use ma for me. I'm your wife. And Jacob is like, I don't understand. You don't understand what is happening. He said, I'm your wife now. How? Have you forgotten yesterday? We had our wedding yesterday. We came in together. And you slept with me. We were still, how can I manage to enter into your room by this time if I'm not your wife? Oh, Jacob was sad. He was broken. He was disappointed. If you study the Bible, you will see that even when Jacob later married Rachel, his love was with Rachel. Leah was just like another wife in that family. The person that, that kind of home where you have two wives, but it's obvious that it's only, you love one more than the other. And obviously, the children from the wife you love will be loved more than the children from the wife you don't love, in most cases. So, Jacob he was disappointed. He was disappointed. I mean, disappointed. And then there was nothing he could do. They already had sex, so there's no going back. If he had not slept with her, he could, he will have the boldness to take her back and say, "Sir, please, I don't understand what's going on here. I told you that it is Rachel that I love. We have been friends. We have been talking. How did this happen? How did this happen?" He would have taken Leah back and said, I rather not even marry again. Don't worry, be taking all the, just, you can have all the 7 years to yourself. Don't pay me. I'm done. I'm going. But he can no longer do that. Why? He had already slept with Leah. How that you even do all the ceremony? You took her in and you did not know. That's how, see, that's how serious, that's how terrible it is to be desperate. That's one thing I don't want to do. I don't want to become in my life. I don't want to be desperate about anything. Even if it is money, you are desperate. If you are desperate about having money, you will offend God in the process. Because you won't mind killing to get the money. Anything you are desperate for, you will lose the fear of God for that thing. So desperation naturally, that's a way of killing your tendency to even fear God on a particular matter. You will not want to fear God. That's the problem of desperation. So Laban, the father-in-law was desperate. Jacob, the one that want to marry, was desperate. Leah, the elder sister, was also desperate. You see that? Father-in-law desperate, the in-law desperate, the Leah too, the elder sister, desperate. Hopefully, maybe Leah was also in a way jealous of the fact that her younger sister now has somebody she's going out with, but she's the elder sister, nobody's talking to her, she's just there. So that desperation of God, when some of you are already in that show now. Yeah, you are already stylishly saying, God, when, and then you feed your eyes with a lot of unnecessary pictures online. You watch a lot of wedding videos. Some of you watch wedding videos like you are watching a movie. And then at the end of the whole thing, your conclusion is God, when you are building desperacy. I see that thing you are doing, I can assure you, the end, you will not like it. There is nothing you are desperate about that you are not likely to make mistake on. Nothing. The problem of desperacy is when you now begin to do what you should not do, you will not feel bad because you will still think it is all part of the process that is needed to get to where you are going to. You see the question Jesus asked them? The two mighty questions Jesus asked them. I've not even explained the weight of the questions. Yet, the two of them, you know what their response was? We are able. Can you drink of my cup? Can you be baptized with the baptism that I'll be baptized of? They can't even think, what does it mean by drinking of his cup? What does it mean by the baptism you'll be baptized in? No, their sense was suspended. Desperation will suspend your brain. You'll be acting like a brainless human being. They did not even think about the weight of the two questions Jesus asked. The next thing is, we are able. Able to do what? To drink of the cup. Able to be baptized with the baptism you will be baptized with. If they were able, then why did they disappear when Jesus was nailed to the cross? I hope you know that the period of his crucifixion, the period where he was being beaten and the likes, I hope you know that they were not around. They were not really around. And why were they not around? They were not around because they were afraid of being identified with him. You stay around now, somebody will say, is that not John the Beloved? I think he's one of his disciples. So they don't want that kind of thing. Everybody disappeared. Yet, the same set of people that ran away, they are the ones saying, we are able. That's to show you they don't know what they are saying. Desperacy will shut down your discernment. Desperacy can make you lose your senses. When you come to that point where there is nothing you cannot do for what you want to get, you are desperate. You have become desperate. Don't be desperate for anything. I want. When you are desperate for invitations, you will go to hell and go and minister. You know this is hell, but you still go and minister there. When you are desperate about getting married, there's nothing you will not do. You'll be willing to betray your friend, marry her husband or his wife. Are you there? And you'll be okay with it because you are desperate. That's the danger of desperation. So I want to believe Leah too must be a desperate person. God when? God when? Look at my younger sister, Rachel. She already has a man that she's moving with. Me now, nobody's talking to me. The father too desperate. No, no, no. How can a younger girl marry before the other? No, no, no. The father was desperate about getting the elder one married. The elder one was desperate about getting married herself. So that was why it worked. Because if Leah was not desperate, Leah would have said, no, 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 I'm not in this. I don't want to involve myself in this. Marriage is not by force. Let this man marry the person he loves. But it was easy for Leah to cooperate with Jacob because both of them were desperate. The man was desperate to get the elder daughter married. The elder daughter was also desperate to get married by all means. And the one that is coming to marry too was desperate to be a husband. So, you see now, if you are desperate, you will fall into the trap of other desperate men because there are many people who are desperate. So, you can't be desperate and not fall victim of other desperate men because you will not be able to discern them. Are we together? So, Jacob went back. Sir, I was just wondering. I know Rachel will be sad. She'll be broken. Maybe she'll just lock herself up in the room and just be crying there for days while all these things are happening. And then Jacob went back to Laban. It's sir, but it's Rachel now that I spoke to you about. Laban now said, my son, I know. You see, in this place, the younger one doesn't marry before the elder. It's the elder that marries first. That's why. So it's not like I want to cheat you. Sure, you understand? That's just our tradition. You see that? A desperate man will not be truthful. Yes. A desperate man will not be truthful. And a desperate man will always be deceptive. Yes. That's the truth. He will always be deceptive. He will be deceptive. He will. I can assure you, he will be deceptive. He will be deceptive. I can assure you of this. He will be deceptive. So that is the elder that should marry first. Why did you not tell him when he came and said, I want to marry Rachel? Did he say he wants to marry Leah? Why can't you just tell him the truth? Now, to fulfill your obligation, you are now allowing the traditions of men to influence you. That's deception. Are you there? And deception goes along with desperacy. You cannot be a desperate person and you will not be willing to lie and you will not be willing to swindle or deceive people. Don't be desperate. Don't be desperate to be a wife. Don't be desperate to be a husband. Don't be desperate to get pregnant. That's why you see some women, there's nowhere they don't go to, shrine, river, everywhere. Because they just want when you have a need that you want to meet, by all means, you are desperate. You should not get to that point where you want to do something by all means, because all means are not good means. Are you there? All means cannot be good. There has to be one that is safe. So when you now get to the point where you are saying by all means, it means you are ready to be lost. You are on your journey to become lost. Are we together? So Jesus asked them two questions which I believe they don't understand. They don't even know the weight of those questions. Yet they said, we are able. Are you able to drink of the cup that I will drink of? Are you able to partake in the baptism with which I will be baptized? He said, yes, we are able. The same people that said they are able, they were not even close when Jesus was suffering. They ran away. They don't want anybody to identify them with. Are you getting what I'm saying? Meanwhile, drinking of the cup is not even the same thing as, it's even still higher than identifying with Jesus in pain. Drinking of the cup and holding the cup is not the same. You can hold the cup and not drink the cup. Meanwhile, Jesus spoke of drinking of the cup. They said we are able. Drinking of the cup is when you come into that experience. And that's what they are saying they are able to. Meant that these same people that said they are able to drink of the cup, they don't even have what it takes to hold the cup. Because holding the cup is identifying with the suffering, which they did not even do for Jesus. They ran away when they were beating him. So the same person that said they can drink the cup cannot even hold the cup. Yet they say we are able. Why? They are desperate. Don't be desperate for anything. Don't be desperate for position. I want to be here. You can't be desperate. You cannot choose to live a desperate life and live a good life. It's not possible. You will offend God in many ways. Stay away from desperacy. Are we together? And the Lord will help you. In the name of Jesus. Now, let me add this to what I've said. When you are desperate, it looks like you are more powerful than those that are not desperate. And that's the deception of desperacy. Desperacy makes you look like the more mighty person, the more powerful. So you see those that are not desperate as weak people. These people don't have power. But you that are desperate, you look like the one that is wise. But it's not true. It's not true. The only person in this picture that was not desperate was Rachel. That was why you see that Rachel seems to be silent. You were not hearing anything from her in that process. She did not probably, of course, did not even come to that wedding. Are we together? She was just there. Rachel looked like the victim. She looked like the victim. It looks like, oh, she's the weakest among them. Why? Because she was the only one that was not desperate. If Rachel was a desperate person, you think they will be able to do the wedding? She will arrange some talks. They will beat them up in that wedding. If Rachel was desperate, the wedding will not hold. She would have even she would have poisoned her father, poisoned her sister. You just see the two of them wake up dead the next day, and people may never know that she's responsible. And then she will just tell Jacob, please, let's run away from here. And they will even run away with all the property. They don't have to run away. They will inherit the property of the husband, of the father, and be living in the father's house. If Rachel was desperate. If Rachel was desperate, there are many things she can do. She can suddenly show up in their wedding. One, of course, even if she doesn't shout, just imagine Rachel shows up and then she just walks along the path where the husband is seated. Don't you think the wedding was scattered? Because Jacob thought he was staying with Rachel. So just Rachel just coming out, just strolling around that path alone can destroy that wedding. That's it. But she chose to hide herself. She looked weak. Maybe you are listening to me this morning, and then it looks like you are weak. It looks like you are the fool in the family. Yes, it looks like among your friends you are the most foolish person, because there are many things that they do to you that you don't react to. There are many things they do that you don't join them to do. And it looks like you are very weak. Even maybe you are even listening to me and they have said it to your face before that This girl, you are a foolish girl. They look at you and they just shake their head for you. We pity you. Don't mind them. You are like Rachel. You are like Rachel. Leave them. The reward of desperacy is destruction. It's as simple as that. The reward of desperacy is destruction, disappointment. Yes. At the end of the day, it will lead to neglect. Because that person you are trying to desperately go for, at the end of the day, it won't last. Are we together? So if you are not desperate, it may look like you don't know the way. And then this generation now, they have a slang, follow who know road. So it will look like you know no road. But well, you may not know road according to them, but you know God. Don't be desperate for anything. Are you there? Don't be desperate to even to pass your course. That's why some people give themselves cheaply to their lecturers. They pay to move to the next level because they are desperate. Okay, why do they cheat in school? It's desperacy. They want to pass by all means. Are we together? That's it. They want to pass by all means. Why do students give money to their teachers? They want to pass by all means. Why do supervisors, teachers, why do they collect money from students? They want to live by all means. Why do people take bribe in their offices? Are you there? They want to survive by all means. When you get to the point where it is now by all means, something is wrong. Because it cannot be, all means cannot be right. All means cannot be a good means. No. When you say all means, by all means, it means both the good and the bad. You don't care. No. The Lord will help us.